Dude, today fucking just kicking my ass, bro. Can't wake
Yeah,
up. How about you?
yeah. I didn't want to get out of bed. I think sometimes the training compounds.
Oh
Like
yeah.
yes, you know, I had a hard leg day yesterday, but I don't think it's like isolated to the leg day. What happened is I missed chest day on Sunday, so I did it Monday.
Oh,
So I usually like to rest before my leg day, so I didn't get a rest day before my leg day. So I hit legs hard, and I couldn't get past seven working sets. That was
mm.
it. I just couldn't recover. So I lay there for like 15 minutes. I was like, at this point, if I get up and try to do another set, I'm just wasting my time. So I left, and today I just been dragging ass all day.
So
You know,
we, I got some clients, and then one of them's a doctor. She's like, "Do you do a 5 a.m.?" I'm like, "Son of a bitch."
nah,
I'm
I
fucking
don't
there
like I don't
5
like
a.m.
those.
Yeah.
Man, I got so lazy that I've been training clients in my apartment gym, bro, because I don't want to go to the gym. I make it work. I got a extra set of dumbbells here. I bring it downstairs, and I mean, you could always make a lot of them are lifestyle. So I mean, they're not trying to bodybuild or nothing.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I can make it happen. We got machines downstairs. We got dumbbells. I make it happen. It's a lot more convenient for me. I could wake up, brush my teeth, shower, and then go straight downstairs within 30 minutes. What's up, Alyssa?
So,
What's up, guys?
what's
I
You
up?
like
just got
leaning,
here.
like leaning in the face already.
I know, man. It happens fast.
How the hell is she doing that, shoving all them tacos in her face all the time?
Well, I think that's how she does it because I think Alyssa probably feels like she gets fatter than she does because just the water from the sodium really, and then she drops that water and she's in shape. There's not like a thick layer of fat there, right? It's just, I think it's just a little bit of fat and some fluid really. So you
I
drop it.
mean, yeah, but I feel like my glutes are just holding so much body fat. But I'm trying not to rush the process.
Well, how many
Yeah,
weeks
yeah.
out though?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
I don't I don't think I've ever had a female client that I was able to get her striated glutes, but I guess I haven't had because that would only I guess only bodybuilding and physique you would need that. I've never had a physique or bodybuilding girl at that level that would need shredded glutes to even win. So I guess it's not. I didn't have to do, but I would imagine it would be harder than a guy to get shredded glutes. Like generally, right? It would be harder for
I,
a
I
girl to get
think
shredded.
every time, I think with anybody, once you find your conditioning, like the first time, it gets easier each time you go for it.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
your body gets used to it, right?
Yeah,
Dropping down all the time.
I
Because
don't.
yeah,
Melissa's one of the, you got Michaela Aycock, who's probably the
Oh
number
shit.
one most shredded, and then Melissa would get up there with some deep ass
yeah.
glute lines as well. And she really didn't do anything different. Never took her cardio over 45 minutes, but man, she lifts so heavy
Yeah, yeah.
and squeezes those cheeks,
It's
I don't.
solely about that itself. You have to contract in order to harden that area up.
You got to push
We just
that
talked
fat.
about that. We just talked about that in last episode. I don't think Alyssa was on though.
Nah, I
Mm,
missed that one.
We talked about squeezing because I think we were saying anecdotally we all agreed that everybody who has it says the same thing, but
mm,
like scientifically, there's no way for us to quantify it. But like we don't really give a fuck if people are doing it and telling us, and we're watching it work. It's almost like we can't really argue with science, right? It's almost irrelevant at that point because we're different. We are the science experiment. Science doesn't dictate us. We dictate the science, motherfucker. We are the science, So we went back and forth. We were like, "How can we explain it?" We were like, "I don't know. I can't really explain it." I kind of tried to explain it from my own way, just because sometimes when I'm just moving without intent, I don't feel like I'm actually stimulating that body part to this full capacity. So for me, that was the way I try to quantify it. But I don't think it matters how you quantify it. If it works, it fucking works. I don't really care.
And
You
I
know.
think, repetitions, sometimes you got to do glutes 3 times a week. You got to train them like a bicep. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
Frequency.
yeah,
you're doing arms separately from your back day, but you're also on back day, you're hitting biceps as well. Well, your glutes are probably the same thing. And if they're still a little soft, you probably need to add another day in there. So you're adding a third, couple different exercises, and a third time of the week. Because that consistency of pushing that fat out and that heat, you know, does
And
really.
the way that I describe it to my clients, because I like to like dumb things down, is if you go to the store and buy a sponge, it's not wet or dry, it's a sponge. So if you put it in the off season and saturate it, it's full of glycogen, water, sodium, etc., body fat. And every
yeah.
day of a prep, you're doing cardio, abs, calves, maybe some extra glutes, and you're wringing that sponge out every day. But you could wring it out and get some water out, or you could really crank down and wring it out.
It's
And the
squeeze.
more you crank down and wring it out, the more water you're gonna and then eventually you're gonna get all the water out. Then what? Then you add in all the hardeners and you throw the sponge outside. You let the heat hit it. Maybe you sit in the sauna. You're adding cardio, hardener agents, etc., etc. And that is now the drying out process where you let the sponge sit out in the sun and get fucking shriveled up, dry as bones.
That's a great analogy. That's exactly what it feels like. Pretty much, that's what prep feels like. You
That's
know.
exactly what we're doing. And then you sprinkle in some water onto the sponge to fill it back up for the stage.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like literally you're squeezing it, like you just said, squeezing, but figuratively,
Yes.
but you're also squeezing. That's a good
And
analogy.
like again with the junk volume, you could squeeze, squeeze, squeeze and get water out, or you could slow it down to really fucking crank in. And speaking on the glutes, like with hip thrusts or glute kickbacks or anything you do, it's not about how many reps you're doing because you're not trying to burn, burn, burn. You're gonna just flatten that area out. Again, you have to shorten the muscle as much as possible. And you guys as bodybuilders do that on stage where you crank your tailbone forward to show the glute striations and the hamstring separations.
Yeah, yeah. You know, in prep, sometimes I feel like the fat and water is interchangeable. Um, I feel like I used to want to be clear. Okay, what's fat? What's water? So I know the process. But I feel like the process ends up being the same thing. Like I cut some carbs and I start peeing and I drop a shit ton of water. But visually, it looks like I just lost 10 pounds of fat. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
which is fat, which is water? But sometimes it feels like one and the same. It feels like the same way I lose the fat, same way I lose the water. Right? It's like I don't know. It's like I do the cardio, I sweat. Like you said, I'm wringing it out and I'm getting leaner. But I'm like, how much
I
of this
think,
was fat or water to begin with? It feels the same, really.
yeah, and I don't think that we really will know what's fat or water until we get all the water off, and then we're tapping into the body fat storages where you're getting closer to a prep where it's 12 weeks out, 8 weeks out. Now you can see the visual discrepancies between the skin
Yeah,
thickness,
yeah.
thinness, etc., etc.
That I guess that's the dangers of taking compounds. I used to take a lot of compounds that would hold water during prep. I would take, I would take Anadrol or D-ball, and then uh, well, I don't take that anymore, but I did in the past. So what happens? I'm dieting. I'm pushing myself. I'm like, oh, I don't have the thinnest skin already, so I'm pushing myself. I got to get harder, harder, harder. And then by the time I drop the water, I realized that I maybe pushed a little too far because then now,
Mm-hmm.
now all the muscles gone. I'm like, fuck. So you should have some idea what's going on.
Well,
If you know you're holding on.
you said by the time you drop the water, I feel like the prep is dropping the water. You're getting dry. So
I could
like
go, yeah.
I feel like you should just for me it's sweating, sitting in the sauna, that's the drying out process, or taking that sponge we talked about and putting it out in the sun. That's where every day you're shedding that water. So you're getting the water off of you. And you may hold some water throughout the day with your meals and your water intake, but I
Yeah,
feel like maybe it's different. Everyone is different, but with my body, it's like
gradual.
I shed the water every single day. That way, come show day, we don't really do too much with my water, sodium, or nothing. We're just manipulating the food, and then we just really go based off the food. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
super old school. I like to touch less variables than more.
That's smart. That's smart. When I used to have cheat meals, the water would fluctuate a lot, and that would sometimes throw off like the visuals to the point that I don't know how much I need to pull or push. But I don't do cheat meals now. If I do, it's so mild. It would be like oxtail and rice. So it's not like a burger, fries, and cake or something like
Right,
that.
right.
I think when you're, as a coach, I've seen this a lot, and clients will say, it's just water. It's just fluid retention. It's like, well, if you did a fluid cut like you're prepping into a show, and then you go have a free meal and carb up, if that's coming back soft, you're not lean. You're just not
It doesn't
lean.
look good. I
Yeah,
agree.
you're
I
just not
agree.
lean enough.
Yeah.
And so you just need more time to get leaner. Because when you eat those, those carbs and sodium and water, when you're, hydrating and filling back up into the show, it should be pushing against the skin, not filling up the skin, right? So
Right.
you
That's a good
probably got
point.
a
Yeah.
lot, you and I have thicker skin. I have thicker skin. It's just taken years and years and years to get thinner and thinner and thinner. And then as I got older, right? So now I'm fighting that as well. So I just have to stay leaner a little bit more of the time so it can come off faster when I go into a show.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. The yeah, if you're lean enough, flat enough, you almost it takes a long time to spill over. It takes a lot of damage to spill over. You know,
Yeah, because now my carb ups are 5 days, 6 days of just so much food.
So, okay, Rafe, when you're carving up, are you doing like are you doing training? Are you training throughout those days? Like,
Yeah, so I train. I just don't train the one day before the show.
okay,
I,
because
probably at that point in time, I've already pulled cardio by then. And every show is different. This past one was that way, so I was able to pull cardio because my body was it was hitting and it was dropping 4 pounds, and I'd refeed, and then it would go there for 2 days, and then it would drop. That was like the last 3 weeks. So I just had to keep feeding it to stay full. Otherwise, I'd have
mhm.
been 15 pounds lighter, just losing muscle. So we started adding food like 2 weeks out. That we kept the water a little bit higher at the beginning of the week, and then just started pulling that down slowly as the food started coming up incredibly. And I kept training through that whole time, so I'm still pushing that glycogen, burning
I
the
know,
you
and
know
I think that's one mistake I made, but I was just maybe bored and lonely. But like the last 3 days right before when I was in my hotel and I was carving up on all the muffins, Santi Aragon, he was like, "Go fucking train your back," and I was like, "I don't want to. Like, I feel like I should just sit in my room and lay down." And but I really should have because I think my back spilled over, but my front was good because that's where I hold less muscle. So
Mhm.
my back was
yeah,
super lean when I pulled up to the hotel, but by the time I could tell it was full. But that was my critique is coming with a leaner backside. But I was like, maybe we overdid it just a little bit, but maybe I could have, pushed the muscle up against the skin versus filling up the skin, like you said, with the working out and just my body's used to that. And when I completely stop, it's like, what the fuck? And it kind of just shuts down, and holds
and, I,
on
and
to
I've
stuff.
I've done it, probably 5 or 6 different ways into a show. Training, not training, cardio up, not cardio. It just depends on where you're at that point in time. And you just got
Yep.
to make the best estimate. I do
Yeah.
think the leaner you get, the easier it is to dial it in. If you're just shredded, it's hard to fucking mess that up unless you really do something stupid, you know,
if you're truly fully peeled, yeah, yeah,
fully peeled.
that
Yeah.
that's the hard part too, because some people look better not fully peeled, but then it gets a little more tricky. I don't bring all my clients in as peeled as humanly possible because some of them have to lose so much fullness and muscle to look like that. But if you have, like, let's say Andrew Jack, yeah, so his detail is so good that he could be 5% fatter than you, Rafe, and look
Right.
just as lean from some angles. you
Right.
know. So it can play to your advantage or disadvantage. But if you fuck up that peak, now you just look fat. You know,
Right.
So it's kind of tricky thing. But similar to you, I've tried every way possible. In 23, I stopped training legs. Um, wait, no, 20, no, 23. I think I stopped training everything like 3 days out. I just wanted to dry out, and I think
Hmm.
that was my driest look. That was when Joe won. I think that
Yeah,
was
I,
my
I won't.
driest look.
I
Uh-huh.
won't train legs at least 5 to 7 days out from a show because
Yeah.
they hold so much glycogen and so if I can just get my feet up, and there's a lot of times where I'm just laying on my back with my feet up, letting the body marinate in the carbs and letting those deep cuts come out.
Let the fluid. Everybody ridge that fluid at a different rate. So then you
Right?
have to. Your best bet, yeah, for legs is at least that Monday. Let's say, for this, we're in 2025. So for last year's, you would say I continued to train upper body all the way until Saturday of a Sunday show because I was getting flat. So I was like, let me keep the fullness. So what happened is my lower body had way more detail than my upper body for the first time ever. Usually it's the opposite, but
Mhm.
it's more because my legs were able to rid the fluid, and my upper body kind of looked washed out. Just because, yeah, I mean, you're filling it up with blood and glycogen, great, but what did you lose to, what did you lose to get that? So I think it was a weird look upper to lower, like why is his hams and glutes in and quads in, but his back is washed out. It's kind of, so
You know, I've with me especially, I've noticed. They always talk about stress and cortisol being a huge factor, right? And it is a huge factor. I've trained a lot of clients that are stressed out. You just can't get them lean. This was the least stressed I'd ever been. I was just, totally at one with the process. I was just good with it. I knew it was going to happen, whatever it was, right? And man, just not being stressed can be 50% of the battle. No joke. Like
I
you just
agree.
got to
Yeah.
have everything just chill. Like you got to have your mindset ready. You already know you won when you get there, and all you got to do is go through the motions. There's not anything that's going to derail you. And I noticed when my mindset changed a little bit more, and I'm just like, that's after losing the previous year, and then going, hey man, I'm gonna do me and enjoy this process. I'm fundamentally going to enjoy the process, make the improvements, and it is what it is because I'm going to keep doing this regardless. And then that
Exactly.
was my best look because of that. My best look.
That's a good way. The biggest pressure is the pressure you put on yourself, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm sure you went into it. That was 23,
Mhm.
expecting to win because yeah, who the fuck is gonna beat me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But just that pressure of that. Now, if you don't win, it's like, wait, what the fuck, Whereas you probably went into it last year, kind of like, I should win with this physique, but what happens happens. Like you take off that pressure, just bring the look without anticipating the future. You know how you say live in the present, because if you live in the past, you never get past it, and if you live in the future, you're always anxious because you're like, what's gonna happen? Am I gonna win? So just be like, I did it. I'm here. I'm laying down. My feet are up. That's all I have to think about. I don't have to think about what happens in the next hour. I'm here. I'm gonna pose. It's easier said than done, right? I mean, but
It is. And I was the guy that's always, I'm up before the alarm clock. I'm up if there's any noise. I'm the latest one to bed because I don't want to miss anything. And I've been like that since I was 2 years old. My dad used to tell me stories. And so here I am at 40, still doing the same shit. So I just got to really, this past year, I just like, I've been doing this so long. Why am I stressed out about getting the card? Why don't I just lift and enjoy what I do? And man, I put so much quality on, you know what I mean? And it was
that's
so
a
much more enjoyable too. And for people around me, it was enjoyable, not as terrible as it can be. So,
yeah. It's a weird concept when I didn't give a fuck when I was a heavyweight and I didn't give a fuck. I didn't give a fuck about competing. I just love bodybuilding, and I pretty much won every show like that. Just show up, what the fuck. Then I'm like, okay, I gotta take this seriously. At my height, I gotta be a super. I'm gonna turn into a super. I'm gonna get a coach, and then I felt like I started stressing out so much that I was taking it so serious. Like, because I won, I'm like, I have to continue winning everything, and it
mm.
was just I started looking worse. I don't know if I literally looked worse, but I wasn't looking my best. I wasn't looking my best, and a lot of that I think is just self induced because you
Well, I
you
mean,
feel like. Uh-huh.
go ahead.
I'm like, in this process of wanting to do everything to win, you're doing too much. You're doing unnecessary shit, and it's like whatever. Like Compton says, 2 hours of cardio. I gotta do 2.5. It's like you want to be so good that you fucking you fucking up. You're sabotaging yourself, wanting to
You
be so
can't.
much better. You know?
I mean, I think we all do it at some point. I mean, I've heard Fuad talk about it. You know, we all go through our head games. I've heard, all the bodybuilders, even myself. If I just use myself as an example, just improving that head game every single time. And that's with life in general, right? I mean, because it's not just the bodybuilding that's stressing you out, it's the bodybuilding on top of everything that you have to do anyway, right? Especially if you have a business that you own, kids, wife, girlfriend, whatever it is, right? So, you really got to take every single. I look at life in buckets. You got to take each bucket in your life and make sure that that level in that bucket's where it needs to be at that point in time. And when it's toward a show, it's all show, right? It's all you, but everything else needs to be managed and set up so you're not overstressing everybody else around you out and yourself.
What I've always been scared to do, every show, same thing. I do on the getting ready for the show. Everybody like, wow, whoa, this is gonna be that package, and then on stage, it's not the case, right? The only thing I haven't tried is not changing anything from 4 or 6 weeks. I'm not changing. That's the only thing I never tried because I'm too scared to try it. I'm like, no, but I have to remove this. I have to add this. I have to. That's the only way. And literally last year, Joe saw me 6 weeks out, and I'm posing for him, and he was quiet, and he was like, "Beatty, if you look like this last year, you would have beat me." Imagine Joe saying that, like somebody. I'm like, I can't beat you, but look at you. And he's like, no, this would have beat me, and I'm like, but then on stage, that wasn't what was there. So whatever's changing needs to stop changing. So I literally feel like leave everything, like whatever I feel like. Fuck, leave the GH, leave the test. Don't add the AIs. Just don't do shit. Fuck the diuretics. Fuck everything. That's the look. Why change it? But it's easy. Like I said, easier said than done because you're like, well, this is not dry enough. This is not hard enough. Okay, you look at the stage pictures. You just look smaller. You don't look. You don't. So
I have seen that with Melissa. There's shows, and literally every show is different. But there was the Texas Pro that she won in 20. Was that 22? Yeah. She was drinking 11 liters of water a day. She was having a Chipotle massive burrito with guac and cheese and the whole bits every day for 2 weeks into that show for the last meal of the day. We didn't adjust sodium. We just kept the water. I think we pulled down to like 9 liters of water. She was drinking water before she going on stage. It was her best freaking look. But she also wanted to be there, and it was the best time and the best show she ever been at. So her stress was completely low, and that's so huge.
that's insane. Think about how many times you've heard that. You remember Samson, the entire Olympia prep last year? He was like, bro, this is the easiest prep I've ever had. His mood was good. He was, you know what I'm saying? Right. No stress. And he's like, wow. Same with Jay. I forget what show it was. He was like, bro, I didn't do any cardio. I was like, why am I still 270? What the fuck? And it's like, just go with it. Like, why are you worried about that? Just go with the flow. He said, Aceto was like, stop, we're going to stop dieting. He's like, why would you just stop dieting? That's it. Diet is over. And that was one of his best looks. It's so much of a mental game that we psych ourselves out. But the truth is, if you don't got it, you better go to work. If 6 weeks out you look like shit, you better step on the gas. But why are you like, whoa, this is the look? But you still got to do those variables. You still got to change those variables that you just feel like you should. It's like, man, keep the Anadrol in, motherfucker. If this is what the Anadrol looks like, keep that shit in. Keep the G. But in the back of your head, like, I'm gonna hold water. If you were, you would look like shit already. So you wouldn't have to worry.
Yeah, if you're worried, it's gonna happen. Yeah,
exactly. So I'm definitely gonna do a show before the main show, so I can see what that looks like. The same exact look, just up on stage.
What are you weighing right now?
Right now, 296. 296.
How long have you been working with Compton?
I would say on and off. The first time I worked with him was 2017, but it's been like on and off.
How many shows have you prepped for with him? More
At
than one,
least,
like two or
at
three.
least, yeah, at least three, at least three.
So do you now deviate from his guidance toward the end there sometimes? Or are you just like, now you figured it out, I'm just gonna lock in and just let him think and I'll just do the walking.
Yeah, I would say the first couple of times I would add too much of my own sauce on it. You know, I would either pull harder or push harder, whatever the case is. But this last year, I followed it to the T, but to the point that I didn't give any feedback. I didn't I didn't
Mm.
tell him when I lost 50% of my strength, this day or anything.
Mm.
I just closed my mouth and followed it, which is also not the best way to do it.
No, because that was another thing with this past prep of mine. I pushed the same weights till 2 weeks out. The same
That's
shit. I might have pulled down a volume set or something like that toward the last 4 weeks, but
yeah,
the strength stayed, which means everything tied together, right? Sleep, diet, the peds, whatever, the food, the cardio. Because normally having to do high cardio like you, that just drained me. But I was
yeah.
able, we started 18 weeks out. We started a little farther out. We just cleaned it up so it wasn't such a crash and I didn't have to increase cardio much past 50 minutes, which is doable for me. I mean, because I don't love cardio at all. Some people love it. I
Yeah.
hate it.
Shit. Well, I was the 2 hours of cardio he gave me. I turned it into hit by the end. It was hit cardio for 2 hours because I'm like this is not it, man. I want to be I want to be the most peeled guy on stage, right? Honestly, I mean that's irrelevant. It's about the best package for you.
Mhm.
Samson isn't the most peeled guy on stage. Shit, I could argue the most peeled guy on stage is Amir, but that works for him. Everybody tries to look like Amir, may end up looking like shit. So this is why you stick to the plan because whatever your best look is, it's independent to you. It doesn't. It's not. Everybody doesn't bring. Everybody can't look like Hottie. Everybody can't look like Phil. Some people have to err on this side, err on that side. But as long as you look great at your package, I think that's all that matters. So, but yeah, I work with Compton like every other show because I'll work with him and he'd be like, I want to try something different. So let me try it this way. And then whether it works or not works, I'll take that feedback and then go back with him and the whole nine. But he basically taught me that when you think you're dead, you're just getting started. When you when you think you're peeled, you got another 15 pounds to go, boy.
Yeah, and that's
So
where I struggle still. And it's, every year it gets better. It's like
yeah,
8 weeks out, feel like crap. 6 weeks out, feel like I didn't feel bad till like 4 weeks out this time, which is good.
okay,
And
yeah.
because the body showed, a good look as well. But so you winning this year, buddy, or what? What's the deal? You gonna win this card?
That's the game plan. This is by far the best offseason that I've had, but shit, I feel like that. I feel like that every year. Every year is the best offseason I had. It's just to translate it to the stage. One thing is that even though I'm bigger, I'm leaner, which is a good way to keep muscle when I don't have to lose 50 pounds of body fat. So I think that's going to translate well that way. But
Sticking to your bones a little bit more this time around.
exactly. But at this point, I'm almost more concerned with being my absolute best more than anything else because I have good enough genetics that if I look the way that I'm supposed to look, then I think it can be good enough depending on who's there. I don't know who's gonna show up.
Now,
I,
is it your best look or your best look to win? What are you shooting for?
well, it would definitely be my best look ever, but the look that I know my body can achieve because I've seen it already, right? So that look on stage, I think is going to be a really good look, So
Because
we'll see.
I definitely think you got to shoot for the look you want. Because if that's what you want, that's what's going to win.
I
You,
agree.
you
I
can't
agree.
you can't try to modify shit to somebody else's design. You gotta have your design, your fit, and that's what wins. You
Exactly.
feel the
Yeah.
same way,
That's
Elizabeth?
Yeah, and when you're saying that, that makes me think about my posing because people want to move me around in my posing, and I'm like, hold up now. I know where I look the best. Y'all are trying to put me in what y'all want. Respectfully, that's not what looks good on me. So if
Judges or not, it doesn't matter.
exactly, so I like okay, like Tyler said, my side chest pose is a little too tilted forward. I agree, but the way he showed me to do it, one, it's kind of impossible for me to like the side poses for the women's physique is just completely hard. The way I do it is one what looks best on my physique, and if it's not the way that they want to be judged, I can like manipulate it to what they want. But again, it looks worse on me. So I'm afraid that I'm gonna change and be what they want, and then I lose because they're like, "Oh, this, and this," and I'm like, "Well, if I would have done it the way I used to do it, you would see this, and this."
Oh
So
yeah.
Yeah.
again, you got. I think it's also way cooler to win when you just show up. Like if you show up how you want to look and you're confident and you're happy with how you look and you win with that, that's a way better feeling than knowing that you could have been better or this or that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
with, sometimes when I've been given critiques like, do this pose, I'm like, well, I really like this one. So I'll hit one of them first and then I'll, in the same time, hit them both. So they're getting two views.
Mm-hmm.
They're seeing that versatility, but they're also seeing what they want to see. And they're also seeing your art through it as well. And if you can tie those together, then it really makes sense, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that what Alyssa said, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
A judge can give you their honest critique that they feel is the best advice in the world, and they can completely backfire because you know
Oh, I've seen it
because
happen. Yeah.
they're being honest in what they're looking at, but they don't know the alternative, right? They
Well,
don't
look,
know what it. Huh?
who's showing up at the next show? Well, they could have been comparing you to two other people that might not even be there at the next show. So you still got to be you because they're going to start seeing you and your standard, and then they're going to judge you off of your standard. And if you change your standard too much, it's either going to be really good or really bad. It's usually not the greatest from what I see.
Exactly. How much time have that happened with clients, right? I'm like, but why do you hit your side relaxed like that? Why you crunch down so hard? Stand tall, bro. And then he stands tall. I'm like, whoa, keep it crunch, keep it crunch, bro. Don't do that. Well, because in theory, it feels like, well, he would look better if he just stood a little taller. And he tried it. You're like, you know what? That don't look better. You just go back to how you did it, right?
Yeah.
Let's say Nick Walker, he comes in with the Arnold Classic against Sampson, comes in peeled. We don't like it. It's too flat. Let's bring the old Nick back. Come in round and full. He does it at the New York Pro, and it's like, we don't like that
Still,
neither.
yeah,
You're too full. We don't like it. And
you
it's
still
like,
does it.
but it's
Yeah,
kind of like
you just got to be you.
that's it. So he literally did because before that they were saying, watch the waist, keep it streamlined. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna come in smaller, harder, a little more streamlined. Backfired. Bring the old one. He brings the old one. We don't like it anymore. So it's like, damn, you don't like the shredded one. If you don't like the streamline, you don't like the full one. Just bring the Nick that you want to bring at the end of the day. That's it. I mean, he still won, right? So it's like at that point, just bring the look that you like because they're gonna just keep going up and down. It's never gonna. So now they're being honest. They are going by what they see. They're being completely transparent, but it doesn't always work that way. You can't always. Sometimes the conversation is better had with your coach and your team more so than the judges because they're not your coach and they're not even competitors. So what is their honest advice sometimes just doesn't
Well,
Yeah,
translate.
I guess we need to preface this too. We're talking about top amateurs and pros winning shows. If you're a
Yeah,
first timer, you need to listen to some critiques.
yeah, yeah,
You need to
for
make
sure.
some adjustments.
Hit me up for posing.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, you get like Alyssa knows what the fuck she looks good at because she's tried it all. She knows what looks bad, what looks good. She knows if she tilts forward, she doesn't look as big, so she ain't gonna tilt forward. So you tell her, let's try that. I'm like, nah, that's not. It's not gonna look how you think it looks. Trust me, I've tried it. I've already tried it. So yeah, it could be honest critique, but that shit don't translate. Come 20 pounds lighter, you'll win, no problem. You come 20 pounds lighter. Oh, Sean Clarita. You was too big, stomach. Come in 15 pounds lighter, Sean. He comes in exactly does that. He does the 15 pounds. Look at the legs. No, he's too flat.
Mhm.
Damn, bro. I did what you asked me to, but that wasn't it. That's too
Yeah,
bad,
I usually don't. We all I'm sure we all know what we need to work on. But
100%.
I went after Texas Pro. I went and found Tyler because I just wanted to know why did Zelma beat me? Because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
felt like it was real close, and I just needed to know personally why did she beat me?
We all want to
And
know.
it was very discouraging to know why.
Hey, we all wanted to know why. Yep. I was so sure you won before they announced it. I went to the bathroom. I'm not even sure. I got about okay, this is over. I went to the bathroom and I was like, wait, what? Who? And I was like, oh no, I must be Irish. And I came out like, imagine that me being so sure. Like, oh, this is a good time to go to the bathroom because this is over. You know,
I know,
that's
man.
the. But it is what it is. I think everybody was kind of like, huh? Okay, I
It
didn't
is
expect
what it
that.
is. It is what it is. But
Who
every
beat you
time
last year?
her name's Zama, she got third at the
Zama.
previous Olympia. So when she was coming into the show, she was the big dog. And when I guest posed at the Kuklo, which was like 10 weeks prior, I found out from Freddie that she was coming, and I was like, "There goes my fucking win." But when I showed up and I knew what I was bringing, I was very confident that I was going to be unbeatable.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. I I think anytime you go against somebody that's top three in the world, you're gonna think about that. You're gonna be like, physique wise, I feel like I have what it takes to beat them, but because they've been top three in the world already, then you're like, huh? Will okay? We all have subconscious, right? So you're gonna be like, are you gonna get a better look because you've already been there, right? I think subconsciously, I mean, I think you do, right? If I'm judging the show and who got there, Derek. Let's say is Derek against some guy, right? That's pretty good, but he comes in insane. Oh, Martin. I thought Martin should have beat Derek personally, but it's kind of like, oh, that's Derek though. So let me really look. Okay, you know, it's
right,
gonna
we
be
can't
hard.
we can't have a newbie beat the previous Mr. Olympia.
It's hard mentally to do that, even if you want to do it. Yeah, I'm not saying it's conscious. I think this can happen subconscious. Same way if I have a friend in the show, let's say Raph, and he's going against a stranger, I'm looking at Raph more than the stranger subconsciously. Even if I want to be fair, even if I don't care if that's Ralph, I'm still looking at Raph, right? So it's like Derek, Martin. I'm still looking at Derek. So there's going to be, I believe there's going to be a subconscious element, even if you're as unbiased as they come. So
I
yeah,
think there's a part of it. The politics is you got to do your time. So they got to see you enough times.
all right. Let's see what's Hey, Ken posted that video. Ken looked like fucking. You saw that video of 2009 Kai Green posing with Oscar in the gym where his chest was pumped as fuck. This is what Ken looked like in this video.
The
I
one
got it
from
on Ken.
yesterday.
Yeah, I was very impressed. Let me see. Okay, how do I refresh the page? How do I refresh the page? I forget. How do I refresh the fucking page? All right, let me just. I'll go back and forth. Ken. Okay, glasses can. Will that refresh it? No, it won't.
Yeah.
I'll do this. Glasses can. All right, this should refresh it. Where's the video? Oh, this one? No, it's not. It was on his page, no?
I saw it
I don't
on.
see.
Go to his tagged.
It was on Vu's page as well.
Okay, I probably remove. Oh,
There it
this is
goes.
it.
There it is.
Oh yeah, yeah. It gave me 2009 Kai Green vibes. Why the motherfucker is that pumped? Why he so swollen, bro? Look at his tricep.
You ready to win?
That
Damn.
looks crazy. What the fuck is
Yeah,
going
What
on
sh-
with that chest?
he
Holy
said he was
shit!
in prep on the last podcast. What show is he doing?
New York, right? Yeah, New
Uh,
York Pro. 18 weeks out. He does a long diet. I mean, he's pretty. I would say that this is great condition for 18 weeks out.
oh yeah.
beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's impressive, man.
I didn't even
When
notice the
you
chest. I was looking at his triceps. They're full as fuck.
that's crazy. When you're a shape guy and you get this big, good things happen because you already have the structure. now you have the muscle mass. So I'm honestly really impressed. Really impressed. He looks like he's about to pop.
Yeah,
I'm
Shout out,
I
excited.
bet the
yeah. Shout out, Ken. Yeah, that's pretty insane. What's this? I think people are gonna catch on because I think he's gonna do really well. I think he'll do really well, and he showed he can get in shape as well. So that's always important for the Nigerian guys. You gotta, as long as you can get in shape, you got everything else. Shout out, Ken. All
Yeah.
right. See if we got any other updates. Then we'll do questions. I want to keep this one a little bit shorter.
Yeah, I got about probably 20 minutes. I got to roll.
Shout out Dawn, by the way, avid supporter of the podcast. All right. Let's see. Oh, they posted Ken. Good. All right. We don't do classic often, but
you think
you
he's gonna
think?
take the Olympia?
I think so. I think so. Hey, if I'm being honest, I thought he was a better bodybuilder than Bumstead. I said that already, but I understand that Bumstead was the standard for classic, so I guess it wasn't a bodybuilding show, right? It's a classic physique show, but still, I thought he was beating Bumstead in more shots than Bumstead was beating him personally.
How
You know,
tall is he? Because he's
five
very
seven,
muscled.
I think 5'7".
So he only can weigh what? 5'7"? He can only weigh like 190?
Yeah, I don't understand how
Yeah.
some of these guys can look that big. I don't,
It's
you
the
know.
vacuum. It's the vacuum.
Is Terrence Ruffin making a comeback?
Yeah, he's doing Pittsburgh, and
Because he was
he's
putting
doing,
some weight on, right?
yeah, yeah. When he's in shape, all his shit comes together. Like Terrence, like you see how some of these guys, like Mike, off season looks like insane. Terrence isn't somebody you see off season. You're like, what the fuck? His is like when he's in shape, then you're like, oh, what the fuck? You know,
Mm-hmm.
his shit comes together. Like this guy looks like a bodybuilder, right?
I mean,
Kind of.
honestly, it's anybody's show, really, right?
Hmm.
But I have my favorites, you know?
Wesley won last year, so technically he's the defending champ. But I don't feel like Mike is the challenger. I still feel like Mike is the front runner.
Is Mike doing Pittsburgh or just Arnold and Olympia?
I'm not sure. I would assume. I would assume just the Arnold. I would assume just the Arnold. Yeah. Terrence is doing Pittsburgh for sure, but he said he wants to do more shows. I believe. So,
Yeah.
shout out
He's
Terrence.
he's over here training at the Liberta gym in Texas now.
Does he live in Texas?
I think he moved over here.
I
I
wonder
don't
if he would
know.
do. I wonder if he doesn't really do podcasts like that. I wonder if he would do a podcast. I'm gonna hit him up, see if he.
I'm sure he'd be down.
Yeah. Do we have any? I'm sure we have a mutual friend somewhere. It's a small world. I'm sure there's. I could figure out a mutual friend in between us. All right. I did meet him. I met him in Dallas,
Me and Terrence
but
go way back. We competed at the first show together in 2014.
oh, then there goes my mutual friend.
Telling the classical queen said she wanted to invite you on the podcast. They'd be like, "Oh, okay."
All right, let's see what we got. Anton missed the. Oh, this is old video. That's old video.
He's got a baby on the way.
Yeah, he does. A lot of people with babies on the way.
I know, it's crazy.
I kind of want to join. I want a baby on the way too.
Chill.
Nah, I gotta wait. Nah. Honestly, I don't think I'm ready for that right now. Shit, I gotta figure out how to take care of myself first.
Should take care of Kane first.
Yeah. Hey, it's not easy. It's not easy. Wait, you have kids?
We got a 20, 18, and a 16-year-old, and then I got two bullies here that are almost 5. American bullies, full size. They're big. They're like 110, 120 pounds. They're monsters.
Y'all, some of y'all make it look so easy. It's like that can't be easy. You have two dogs and 2 kids.
I have three kids, but they're
Oh
old.
shit.
I got one in college, one senior, and then my baby's 16. So
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
that's commendable. That's
I was 19 when I started, so got it out of the way earlier.
and you felt like did it force you to mature faster?
I don't think there's a no answer to that. I think that's always a yes, regardless.
Mm,
It'll always mature you. I was always progressive in that mindset anyway.
yeah, yeah.
Looking back, if I had any advice on anybody, wait till you're closer to 30. Get established, because there was so much time when the kids grew up with me because I was busting my ass 7 days a week making ends meet. The recession hit back in 2006. So it was hard.
Yeah.
It wasn't any harder than anything else I've done, in my mind, but it was still hard. It would be easier if you had more money. So I would wait until you're a little more established. But
Do do you
you
think
weren't
any
going to talk me out of anything, though.
do, do you think anybody is actually ever ready to be a parent, or it's something you have to have in order to actually know what you need to be ready for to begin with?
That's a loaded question. I've seen a lot I got some brothers that waited till their mid 30s. And man, nothing. I mean, you can prepare financially, you can prepare, house wise, you can get all of that stuff ready. So, yes, I think that part is important. But to have the child, I don't know. I came from a big family. I'm the oldest of a lot of kids. So I was used to that. So for me, it was very normal. If you're one of two or the second of two, or there may be three kids and they're spread out, it's probably a little different. But because I was the oldest grandkid, oldest greatest grandkid, oldest son, oldest, I was around them all the time. So it was a little bit more normal for me and I wanted it. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, yeah.
you
I
know,
was I thought I was ready to have kids at 23. In hindsight, no, I wasn't, but I think it would have worked out. I feel like I would have just made better choices in life. I think I would have
you,
stepped
you
up.
just, you do different things. I just stopped bodybuilding and that came back, many years later
Yeah,
because I was
yeah,
on a track to be a real young pro way back, but I had to stop
yeah.
all that. Priorities changed. I wasn't made of
I
money.
I think I think in some ways you're better off because you establish yourself in life. If you put competing first, even if you do well, doesn't necessarily guarantee you're gonna be established like
Right.
financially.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
So I don't know, but I feel like whatever choice well, for the most part, whatever choice you end up making was the right choice. Unless you end up, I guess unless you end up homeless or something, maybe that's not the right choice. But but
No,
but for the
every decision I've made is a block in who I am now, right? It's part
exactly,
of building me as an individual. So
exactly,
I choose to learn and utilize those things to better myself. Because you can literally go through life and not choose that and be just as dumb as you were when you started, right? Or you can
exactly.
try to take these things and build off of them, just
Yeah,
as in one prep to the next, something that's very relatable for us, just one prep to the next. What are you going to change for the next round? So,
that's why I say whatever choice you make is the right choice because even if it's technically the wrong choice, what's gonna happen? You're gonna be like, oh, that was fucked up. Then you learn and then you make a better choice. So it comes around to being the right choice eventually, regardless. You
the
know.
way I kind of look at it as well is, you know, not going to college and working and learning all these things, I paid for college real time, in the
Yeah, yeah,
field. You know, so you
yeah.
learn these skills if you choose to. I mean, you can just go through the motions again and not learn anything. But if you
Exactly.
choose to learn these skills and build off of them, it's just like doing your time, right?
Speaking to college, um, do you? I guess other than going to college to become a lawyer or a doctor or something that obviously you have to go to college for. Do you think, other than that, generally speaking, for the majority of people, 70% of people, that they're any better off going to college financially than they would be not going. Like basically, is college kind of a scam to some extent for the majority of people?
I'll keep it sweet. I think you should go to trade school and start making money as soon as you can.
Yeah.
4-year, 12-year degrees, unless you're going to be an attorney, unless you're going to be a specialist, an engineer, a doctor, an aerospace. If you're going to do something like that and actually take it, you have to do it.
Yeah.
But if you're just going because you want a general 4-year degree and who God knows what, then you're just wasting time and money.
Yeah. I would. Most people I know who went to college, whatever they majored at, even if they have their masters, right? Whatever they majored on, they're including my ex. They're not doing it. They're not using it actually.
And how much does that cost them or society for that, right? I have a brother that's a fighter pilot in the Air Force. So by the time he was 19, he had a bachelor's degree, and then he got his master's when he got into the military. Well, you need that to do his job. That's totally makes sense. But guys that are going to get a psychologist degree and then they're working an assembly line somewhere, at 30 years old after they've done that, like, why did you go to school? Just to go. To add 200 grand in debt to your name and then deal with it for the rest of your life,
Yeah.
I think, every individual needs to make that decision. I did 2 years of college and realized that what I wanted to do was in the field. So I started my business at 18 and it was hard. It's going to be hard either way. You choose your hard, but, I learned how to run business very well. So that's my degree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even back then, I did 1 year of college, but even back then, I kind of felt like the trade-off for experience versus the degree, it didn't sit well. Even if I could have made more money, I'm like, but wouldn't I put myself in a better position if I'm out there doing the thing that I want to do? I kind of felt like that. My older brother went to college. Uh-huh.
I will say one thing, starting a degree and finishing a degree shows that you can at least start and finish something.
For sure.
There's a lot of people that can't even finish anything they start, whether how big or small it is. So that I can find value in a lot of things, but, at the end of the day, you should make some freaking dough after it. That's what I'm thinking,
Yeah.
At time, let's make some money.
My ex had the master's degree and she's paying student loans still. She doesn't use her degree. Like I don't believe most people do. Now my sister is a nurse practitioner, so she went to school she went to school for free because she's military, so you can't beat that. So she went to school for free, and now she makes great money. Most of her business is in real estate, but she is a nurse practitioner, so she's still using it. She works from home. I don't know how that works, but she works from home. She can prescribe because they can prescribe medication, stuff like that. So it looks like it worked out great for her, but that's a specific reason, a specific goal, and her husband didn't go to college and he makes just as much money. I don't know.
There's a lot of ways to skin not to skin a cat, but you know what I'm saying. There's a lot of ways, and you got to choose the best one for you. Sometimes I look back going, man, I sure chose the hardest path, just get right in the trenches right off the bat. But it's built who I am. I'm there. I'm now who I am because of all of that. And I don't think I'd have changed it just because I know my personality. I'm not going to study something that I'm not in love with. I do love studying, but it's got to be something that I'm going to actively use. So I study a lot every day for the business I'm growing, right?
Yeah,
for sure. So many kids in high school, they probably think that they're not good at learning because they're not doing well in school. But the truth is that most of us just don't want to learn some shit that we're not interested in, honestly. Because I kind of felt like that until I started learning shit on my own. I'm like, oh, I love learning. Yeah. I just don't want to sit in front of a boring ass teacher and learn some shit that I don't want to.
And we all learn differently as well. Melissa, she used to tell me she'd take recorder in class. She couldn't retain it in class, but on her cardio, prepping for her shows, she would listen to it and she'd retain it all. And that's how she got her. you know.
That's
So
fire. I like that. You guys ever feel sometimes maybe a little envious of 9 to 5ers because of like having like I don't know, like medical and pension and kind of like a check to rely on versus
it's just
for
funny.
us. Mhm.
I was just talking to some of my guys, my coaches that I train with as well here yesterday about this. Um, I was like, even if I was a fully sponsored bodybuilder, and let's say I made 150 grand a year, so enough to live, right? I couldn't do it. I'd have to have something else. I work 7 days a week, and I legitly love it.
Yep.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying everybody should do that, but for me, it works for me, and I enjoy it.
yeah,
So, working to me is at least 4 hours a day. So if I even on a so I could do a 4 hour in the morning and have the rest of the day off on one of those days, right? But at least every day I'm doing something. So I have to stay active like that. So having the healthcare, I'm married to a nurse, so we can get it that way. So
Ooh.
that's one way to do it.
I gotta take notes, man.
I
Marry a
Yeah.
know. I
nurse.
gotta find me a man with a
Marry a nurse. Okay.
big paying job, healthcare, all that, a house.
Ev-
Well, you just pay a
ev-
lot out of pocket, which is sucks. But
but every once in a while, I think that as I get older, I'm like, man, should I get some kind of job? Should I go be a nurse or something? I'm like, I don't know. It feels like I sit around and think I'm like, yo, where does my income actually come from? And it's a little bit here, a little bit there, and it works. But then I'm like, that's this is a risky life to live, man. This is risky as shit. Like
it
it's
is,
like
but is it any easier anywhere else though?
no,
Because
definitely not
it's really
easier.
not. Yeah.
Maybe safety. Maybe you feel more safe. I'm sure my sister feels a lot safer as a nurse practitioner.
The more
But
money you make, the better you feel because you have that little buffer as long as you're not a dumbass and blow it.
exactly, but she
Before,
also wakes up. Uh-huh.
go ahead. My bad.
No, I was gonna say, but she also wakes up at 4 a.m. most
There
days
you
of the
go.
week. So there's a trade off. I usually
Mhm.
go to bed at like 4 a.m.
Before I was like full time bodybuilding, I used to work with kids. I was a PE coach, and
Mm,
then the timing of the PE coach was like during school hours, which I switched to like after school daycare. So I was still basically being a PE coach, just not PE. But I worked with kids and I could easily go back to that. But it's like when I'm prepping for a show, the last 2 weeks, I can't see a little kid, man. It was
yeah,
like, why the fuck are you eating Oreos? And they're on recess, like,
They're
but
being
stuff
kids.
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm over
That's
here like, fucking, go play.
it
But
gets
I
rough.
just, yeah, in even being a full time sponsored athlete, I get bored as shit and I want to work. And like yesterday, I trained this guy. It's fun for me to train someone who can train how I want to train them, but it's not fun to just start training people just to make money. So
Yeah, for sure. Prep makes it difficult to work certain jobs because your temperament does change. I was doing cause I used to bounce and do bodyguard work in New York. So a lot of my friends from New York have that I used to bounce with now have security businesses and stuff like that. So I was working with a guy from New York. Anytime he had events here, I would staff them. So then I would get like $15-$20 based off everybody I send. So it starts to add up, but it starts to get scammy and scummy, and then he doesn't want to pay, and they complain they didn't get paid. And then I'm very straight up, so I don't like bullshit. Oh yeah, I'll pay everybody tomorrow. Then it's a week after. I'm like, bro, I'm sending guys to work. Why the fuck are they not getting paid? Even if you delay mines, pay them because that makes me look bad. So I keep getting into these arguments, and then I just flip. Eventually, I just flip and I just go crazy, and I'm like, I'm gonna fuck you up. Literally, I'm gonna fuck you up at this point. And so because this gets disrespectful. So I don't want to deal with that anymore. It
yeah,
was good money, but I'm at a point that I'm like, I can't deal with that kind of shit. I don't even want to be that guy anymore. I don't want to beat nobody up, bro. But
Yeah.
I would if you make me do it, I'll do it, bro. You know.
I get
So it's like
educated.
dealing with those kind of that kind of business, it just gets it gets weird. And then if you're bodyguarding or doing security for, like, especially out here, you got, let's say you're working for rappers, right? Well, if somebody gets shot, bro, then it's like, I don't wanna deal with this shit, bro. And these rappers
To a
get
certain
shot.
age in your life, it's like, is it even worth it?
Yeah, So yeah, sometimes he'll be like, "Hey, do you want to go?" I'm like, "You do? I want to go? No." And if it's good money, I'm like, I don't care. I'm not doing it. I'm not getting shot. That's a long time ago. I'm not doing that anymore. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of it has to work for us. We have to do something that works for our lifestyle, and getting shot or going hours without having access to food or bathroom is just not
And no, and I think it comes down to just being grateful for the way that we're able to live. Because when I'm
exactly. Yeah,
ungrateful, I start taking advantage of how good I got it. And
that's
then when I
true.
am grateful, I'm okay with taking on I'm okay with filling up my plate. I'll eat, I'll fill that plate up, and I'll do the work. And then the money just starts pouring in.
It
So,
does.
like,
Yeah,
it goes back to what you said about your prep break. When you enjoy what you do, you can do a good job, and the money follows.
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
Just
Yeah.
be
It's
grateful.
You get the choice to either take the positive route mentally or dig deep into that hole you don't want to be inside of your head, right?
Because there's
And
so many people that would love to have a 4 hour day like you do. But like the dude I trained yesterday, he works refinery. All these Texas guys are refineries. They're working 12 to 16 hour days and still going to the gym, still trying to do what we're doing.
yeah,
yeah,
don't
exactly.
misquote me. That means one day a week I do 4 hour day, and I still call it a work day. Every other day I'm up at 4 in the morning until 7 p.m.
I
I
got
have
you. I got you.
I had a client. I have clients at 5 a.m. and I have
Yeah.
clients at 5 p.m. And so I work all the time. You know what I mean?
Man,
Yes.
So,
you got work
Same. From
hard.
the time I open my eyes to the time I close my eyes, I'm just
but
responding to people, trying to get clients to train, just
yeah,
networking, hustling.
Yeah.
you just cannot allow your mind to 2 seconds. 2 seconds, you can go down a rabbit hole and you can ruin your day, right? So when you start to feel those things, you got to just train yourself to go, nope, I am grateful, right? I have a lot. Look back a year ago to where I'm at now. How much have you improved? You have to take those little breaks every now and again because you'll still get down on yourself because we're so progressive in society today. And you just got to slow down sometimes and go, well, I am progressing and I'm doing great. So just take a deep breath and keep plowing forward,
100%.
Yep.
We're also oblivious how other people view us, right? But most of us don't sit there and realize how a lot of people view us. A lot of people have a high level of respect for us and look up to us in a lot of ways that we don't realize until somebody says it. And you're like, really?
Yeah.
That's what you think about me? And he's like, oh, I've never thought about it that way. Because we're just doing what the fuck we love. We
Yeah.
never were trying to, we wasn't trying to, with all due respect, we wasn't trying to motivate anybody or
Right.
really anything like that. So we didn't do this for anybody to look at us in a certain light. We just fucking love it. But
At
every
least
once in a while,
initially. Yeah.
yeah, this is literally every once in a while somebody would tell me something like, "Bro, this is dope. I think what you're doing." He's like, "Really?" Like somebody that you respect as well. You're like, "Damn, I didn't realize that you looked at me that way." I'm like, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We don't look at ourselves like that, so it's hard for us to understand that. But that's a blessing because everybody doesn't get that. Everybody is not in a position where people respect what they do just for them doing just for them doing their job, really.
Right.
Yeah, shit. Most of my family is in the military. I mean, it happens every once in a while, but it's usually other military people. But the average person, you might say, is like, right, Rafe, you might be like, thank you for your service, something like that. But
Mhm.
generally, people don't give a fuck that you're keeping them free. Eh, I'm worried about what
Right.
the fuck
No,
Beyonce and Taylor Swift are doing. Fuck the military. You know,
very important to me. I got three brothers that were in. One of them
okay.
still in. And so in all of our gyms, I have all the flags up for all military, first responders. So that's, it shows our appreciation. We have a discount for every single active or non-active retired service member,
Yeah.
in our facility. I appreciate that. I can't do what I'm doing if they didn't do that, so absolutely.
None of us can, right? Like an NBA player can't go make millions if if the country's not being fucking protected, you know. So none of us could do anything. So I think they deserve the utmost respect, but unfortunately, people don't realize the beauty of it because they're oblivious. They live in a cocoon. They don't realize that there's real shit happening, and every every moment of every day somebody has to protect us, protect our freedoms for us to be free to begin with, you know. But nobody thinks that deep. Everybody's worried about shit that doesn't really matter for the
You
most
know, I
part.
think we
Military. My bad, Ray.
go ahead.
Military people make amazing clients too. I will say
Oh,
that
They
absolutely.
do, they
they are
do.
the top of the line best clients, and I click
Yeah,
with them because my parents are Air Force retired, and I turned pro on Tyndall Air Force Base. So I like me in the military. We click real good.
that's fire. Yeah,
Right.
that's
What I was
fire.
going to say was, I think, you know, a lot of people don't acknowledge it, but I do think a lot of people understand it's there. We're just so self-centered and selfish in society. We don't go out of our way. You know, I try to make it a point. You guys try to make it a point. You also are, as well as I am, have family members that are in the military, so it's a little closer to us. But I
Yeah,
mean, it's up to us to kind of pass that around and show everybody else too. You know.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that I didn't join, but at that time of my life when I was that age, I didn't like following orders, so I guess maybe that's what stopped.
If you grow up with it, you're definitely gonna rebel from it as your life goes.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. But I think it would have been a great choice. I think I would have been a lot better off, honestly, in every way possible, from discipline to, I mean,
You know,
financially, the whole nine.
I've seen a lot of guys take it and do that, and I've seen a lot of guys just fucking waste
Yeah,
it too. So
yeah. Some people, and it affects everybody. My older brother, it kind of affected. I mean, it set him up. Technically, it set him up in a great way financially, but mentally, for whatever reason, it didn't do him well mentally. He hasn't been the same mentally, but everybody's a little different. You know, I don't know, for whatever reason, he has a lot of trauma. I don't know what the fuck I don't know what he got into in the military, but he seems to have more trauma than anybody else from his journey. You know, it's just, I guess that's just life. What are you gonna do? You know, it did help him, but then mentally maybe not so much. But shout out to him. Hopefully he's doing okay.
yeah.
But I don't even think we have
Also,
time for a question. We might have to save it.
yeah, I got a roll, but I was just gonna say, thank to all the service members that are out there protecting our asses every single day. You know.
Yeah,
For sure.
thank you for your service. I respect y'all a lot more than I respect all these celebrities that people are so worried about. And also,
Yeah.
I don't really care for celebrities much. I gotta be honest with you, guys. Every time I open Instagram, I'm like, I don't care. Why do we talk about them so much? I'm like, who cares? Great, good job. I don't know. It's so it's like a part of the social world that I don't understand why we're so enamored with people that make music and do films. I think it's cool. I love music and films, but damn, they're like people act like they're God or some shit. I'm like, this a bit extreme, you know. Anyways, I'm gonna go off on a rant. All right, all right, y'all. This was short and sweet. I
Yeah.
almost didn't want to do it today. I kind of just wanted to go to sleep. So I'm always glad when we actually do it because if I start missing episodes, I'm gonna
It's just like
Yes,
going to
they,
the gym. You just got to keep it consistent.
even if it's
exactly.
shorter. Yup.
Yeah. Sometimes you might not have a 10 out of 10 workout, but you made it to the gym and you got
Yeah.
after it. So that's what matters. But thank y'all for coming on. Enjoy y'all Wednesday.
Hump day. Freaky from the back.